Hey friends, this is Cynthia with SimpleCynthia.com. Thank you so much. This is Project Health. So I told you I was going to give you an update about my week, and also I was going to tell you about exercise, because believe it or not, exercise is not a problem for me at all. So I have a good friend from college who sent me a message on Facebook, and he said, how in the world do I wake up and to exercise early? Apparently, he's not a morning person, and I am, because he used to see my posts every morning saying, look how great I feel. I just ran 5 miles, or look at me. I just, ran hills, and now I'm ready for my day, and exercise rocks. So here's one thing that my friend did not know. Number one, genetics. I'm a morning person. Ever since I was a little kid, and my mom used to complain about me waking up so early and being the last one to go to sleep. So apparently I've been this way for a long time. So exercising in the morning is just convenient for me. It's just something that I've always done, and it does make me feel better throughout the day. Number two, I've practiced exercising early. I've practiced exercising at night, and I found out what worked for me. And number three, I still have to be diligent with it. So the tips that I want to share with you are things that worked for me. And no, I'm not trying to make you into a morning person, but I am trying to tell you that you can make this work for you. So my first tip is to make sure you schedule your exercise. So for me, it happens in the morning. So how do I schedule it? I write it down in my schedule. I have a physical schedule from a week that I keep in my kitchen. So I write it down in there. And I have, how many miles I'm running or what kind of exercise I'm having it. I also have on my digital calendar just different exercises that I can do when I'm cross training. So the goal is to make sure I schedule it. I put it in a place where I can see it so that the visual reminder also juggles my memory. And regardless of how I feel, I know I'm going to exercise. Number two, and I think that's one of the greatest tips that I have to prepare for the exercise the night before, since I'm going to do it in the morning. And what if you are going to exercise at night? Well, just try to prepare that morning or whenever you can. When I had my last kid, I remember preparing by having 3 outfits in my bathroom. So that way I knew that I wouldn't have that excuse, oh, I have to look for clothes so early in the morning. So just prepare ahead of time, because if you prepare, you're less likely to talk yourself out of exercising. And once you put on those clothes, you're less likely to just sit on the couch and eat popcorn. Like you're gonna go work out. So prepare ahead of time. And if you can prepare for 3 or 4 days, totally do it, okay? And then my last tip is to be self-motivated. What do I mean? I've heard people say, I wish I had somebody to call me and say, okay, let's go work out. So that worked for me for a little bit when I was in graduate school. My roommate and I would wake up early in the morning and go work out, and we were each other's motivation. So there were days where we would be like, oh, okay, let's not go today. It's too early or whatever. But most of the time we motivated each other. But you know what happens with roommates? Eventually we move away. So she moved away, and it's just like, what happened to my motivation? So I had to learn how to be self-motivated. And why do you want to be self-motivated? Even if you have somebody to run with you, because the person is not going to physically make you wake up. They're not going to physically make you put on your clothes. So you have to find that self-motivation, even if you are working out with a group. Okay, so tip number one, schedule it and put it on a visual place where you can actually see it. Number two, prepare ahead of time for those workouts by having your clothes where they're supposed to go. I have a friend who's an Ironman. I'm very proud of her. And she told me that for her, exercising, running, swimming, biking is just so much part of her day that she has her swimming bag, she has her biking bag, she has her running stuff together, is always in her car, so there's no excuse. So preparation is very important, even for Ironman athletes, okay? And number three, find your own motivation, okay? And the key there is to find out why. Why do I put myself through waking up in the wee hours of the morning and meeting my friends at an empty park? And trust me, it's safe, okay? But as in, most people are asleep and they are just rolling over and tapping, you know, their alarm clock for the fifth time by the time that we're out there on mile 3, is because I want to be a healthy wife, mother. I want to be a healthy person. I want to be the best person that I can be because I'm responsible for this body. So that's my why, you know. So find out what your motivation is and remember that, because that's going to drive you out the door in order to exercise. I have to tell you that you have to go see your doctor before you start any type of fitness routine or weight loss regime. It's very important to see a doctor. Okay, so that's my disclaimer for you. And I'm also a person that believes in getting those physicals, like schedule those visits and don't cancel them, like go, because a professional needs to have your numbers. You see what I mean? So as you're losing weight and as you are getting more physically active, you can see for a fact how your numbers are improving. So make sure that you see a doctor on a regular basis. Not basis. Where did I get that word from? Okay, sorry. All right, so that's my exercise tip for you. Next week, I want you to talk about scales. The scale is usually the villain when it comes to weight loss, but I have found after all these years a way not to see the scale as a villain. So you don't want to miss watching this next week, okay? All right, so let me give you a quick update on the app. I still don't have it under control. I find it more effective when I physically write down my food and I log it, you know, manually. And mind you, I'm a high-tech person. But for some reason, when I write down in paper, my brain registers it better. So my goal is to, no matter what it takes, to write it down. And, you know, if I go back and forth, but the key is to every day just to log my food, because I think it helps me. And it tells my brain, hey, you know, here's your limit, you know. So anyway, that's the app update for you. As always, I'm keeping the weight at the end of these videos. It also allows me to kind of, you know, record this when I can, and then just let, you know, the big surprise come at the end. So anyway, I hope that you're having a good week. I hope that you're encouraged about your journey. It's not too late. There's hope. And God has given you something called self-control. And it's not other control, it's self-control. And if you tap into that gift that you already have, you'll be amazed at how much you can do and how much you can accomplish. You have a lot of potential and you will reach your goals, okay? This is Cynthia with simplycynthia.com, where we spread hope online, one social media platform at a time. See you next time. Bye-bye.